What's up, team? Before the video starts, I just want to say I'm giving away this painting. You know, it's free. You don't have to do anything except comment on this video, but the comment is specific. To find out more, stay to the end of the video, and that's pretty much it. If not, you don't want to get this painting, that's cool. Hopefully you enjoy this video, this little mini project. Let's roll the intro. So this video is directly related to the last video I uploaded, a sketchbook flip through tour. It's my first 3 sketchbooks I ever had when I was 19 and 20, and it's really cool to kind of see the evolution. I was really into graffiti back then and started sketching a lot, slowly got into characters, and it's just cool to see the progress and also where I am at today. But just like the first sketchbook flip through I did, I chose an illustration I was really into, the core idea, and I'm gonna flush it out into a bigger painting. That's what today's video is. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, I'll link them in the description for you, but this is the sketch I chose from the sketchbook flip through. And I said that this was originally a sketch to prep for a painting that I did, and this painting I sold, actually the first painting I ever sold. It was the one of hundreds of paintings I actually didn't get to film and do a time lapse, but I have some process shots, of course, that you can see, and it was really cool. I was really into it. It was in acrylic, and I just realized actually while I was trying to film this that I was like, why is this face so familiar? I feel like I've done another rendition of this, not just that one I did. On this little gallery wall I have over here, that this painting was like directly influenced by this character as well. It's not completely the same, but it's definitely a miniature rendition. I'm gonna go grab it. So yeah, I think you could definitely see the influence from this like wonky face and the diagonal mouth and all these corners coming out. There's a random ear instead of his hat and no tongue, but I think it's a direct influence. But there's a few things that I want to tweak and that we're gonna talk about on the iPad that I really need to change to make this more successful, I think. The first thing I directly think about when kind of painting a face is where the light is coming from. This sketch, there's no real light source. It's kind of in the center, but it's lit from all the sides. It's not very specific or dynamic. So what I want to do is make the light come from an obvious one side. And you're gonna see this iPad drawing that I did. I'm obviously giving it a light source, and I didn't really draw the tongue in or a hat, but I'm gonna work on the tongue. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but now you can see that there's a light source. It looks a little more realistic in the dimension. Obviously it's a fantastical face, but you know, the form is explained more clearly through the light and having a light source with shadows and highlights. So that was kind of the main thing I want to say, but other than that, I'm gonna go full freestyle. I'm gonna stick with kind of the basic shapes, but we're just gonna have an absolute blast. I'm gonna cut out some linen and we're gonna, you know, put it up and start oil painting. It's gonna be a blast. So we're ready to start painting, but I want to answer this question. What is this stick? Last oil painting videos, people ask me. It's a mahl stick, M-A-H-L. Oil painters use it to protect their wrist from hitting the wet oil paint when they're doing more detailed work. In the beginning stages, you don't need it. I like to use it. Some people don't use it at all. I also like to point with it, okay? But we're starting off. We got the reference printed out from the iPad. We got the loose piece of linen, primed, sanded. It's on this piece of styrofoam, which is a nice, just thick backing, good support. It's also raised up so I can stand. My oil painting setup is twisted towards me, so we're here, boom, bang. It's looking nice. I'm pretty excited because it's just gonna be a fun piece, improvised, letting loose. It's not super realistic. I don't need it to look like anything. We're gonna kind of compose the face, the first lines. It's my favorite part. Moving on. So colors, all right, I laid out a bunch of colors, titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, burnt umber, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, and then I got these two specialty colors that like I never use because I usually like to mix my colors, but because this, I want it to be super saturated and crazy, I'm using this radiant magenta and reddish linen blue, which is kind of cool. So those are some specialty colors. We got linseed oil, we got my turpentine. This setup over here is looking nice, all right? So we're ready to paint. I'm also only gonna use 2 paintbrushes that I'm gonna pick right now. We'll use this one right here, which is a synthetic flat brush. I like this paintbrush a lot. I use it all the time. It's a little smaller for the smaller painting. And we'll use this one as well, which is also a bristle synthetic flat head. So kind of the same shape. I like the flats a lot. Maybe we'll use one more just for some more detail work. This is just normal, you know, generic, whatever, round. So these 3 are all I'm gonna use, alrighty. They're very old brushes. They're falling apart, but they do the job. Let's begin. So I spent about 1 hour and 20 minutes kind of just filling in the generic parts of the face with the colors that I kind of came up with on this piece of paper. Super crude, super just quick. And the paint is still a little wet, even though I came back today, this morning, which is good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take kind of like a very soft synthetic brush, and I'm just gonna swipe over the whole painting to kind of like fuzz out what I did, the color blocks, and then go back in and reshape and reform those kind of shapes. And I guess I'm already cheating with all the brushes I'm using. I did use this big fatty filbert to fill in the background, and you saw that I did that pink and I didn't like it at all. I think I'm gonna eventually do a whole black, super dark background like the last one I did, just so that this teal, it just will pop, the face will pop. So that's the plan. We're gonna like fuzz it out. I don't know what that's called in oil painting, but if the paint is wet, you can kind of like haze it so it's kind of nice and soft, and then I'm gonna go in and rebuild. Paints are ready from yesterday, still wet. Here we go. And I'm gonna show you what I mean right here with the paint that's still, it's still wet. So I could just like move the paint around and make it softer. It's very subtle, and you might not be able to see what I'm doing actually at all because it's so subtle, but it's kind of just fuzzing it all out. If some paint is drier than others, so you have to be a little more rough, but I'm just trying to like mediumly, not blend, but just like smooth over everything I did. And you may be thinking, oh, that's messing up all the colors you did. You could hear a train in the background. I like to do this just to like reset myself. So yeah, I don't even know if you could tell via the camera, but that's what I'm doing. Obviously see that the paintbrush has all the color on it, and I'm just blending it all in kind of together. Right by a train station. So many trains, so many trains. But an update, all right? So you can tell from my palette that I haven't done much different colors. I've just used different values of the colors I have. That deep blue purple on the shadow side, the teal on the light. I've also added reddish pink to like the nose, eyes, and ears, because in real life, those points tend to have a lot of blood close to the surface. So in portraiture, people tend to push those extra red and pink to give life. I did this as well, even though it's a fantastical character, just a decision I made. But the general overall paintings, it's all at the same stage, the mouth, the eyes. There's good form, but I could keep going lighter and keep going darker. That's what I'm going to do. I just want to add more color in general. Also, I think I'm going to add some dark green to the shadow side. I think that will look nice. Also, some delicious reflected light from the shadow side on the rims of all of the things. So it's going to be like a nice yellow, and pretty much just super opaque highlights of color on the highlight light side. And that's the general plan. Let's move forward. All right, we finished up. I'm super happy with this painting. You know, it was such a blast. 90% of the oil paintings I do using oil is like for commissions, realistic portraiture, dog commissions, you know, these more serious, planned out paintings, and it's super fun and I love it. But there's something about just like letting loose and improvising, having fun with like a very fantastical character or something that doesn't need to look like anything. You know, this character was based off the painting I did in 2016 in this old sketch, so it was super fun to just let loose and have fun. Just one day painting, you know, real quick, nothing too serious, but I like that. And like I said, it was just a blast. I should do things like this more often. And so if you want to win this painting, like I said in the beginning, it's super easy. All you have to do is comment. That's all you need to do. But you need to comment what you would name this character. You know, I do that for a lot of my fantastical characters. I give them names and I give them background stories in my head, like where they would be from, what their personality traits are. So if you just write a few sentences, it could be a paragraph, it could be a few sentences, something super creative, what you would name this character, some background story, you know, something like that, something creative, you know, where this character is from, what this character did to get its third ear, just something funny and creative. I think that would be really funny. I would love to hear what you guys come up with. So that's it. That's all you have to do. Just comment that. I'll give it 2 weeks from the time this video is uploaded, and then I'll pin a comment. I'll contact you, get your information. I'll ship it to you. If you're in the United States, it will be free shipping. You won't have to pay anything. If it's abroad, unfortunately, you'll just have to pay for shipping. That's just the way it is. So that's all I got, you know. Get weird, you know, what you would name this three-eyed weird character. That's all I got. Hopefully you enjoyed. You know, I have hundreds of videos like this video on my channel. If you want to go check them out, subscribe. If you like this video, to stay tuned for more. You know, also I recently made an oil painting playlist where you can check out all my oil painting projects in just one nice little folder. So yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. New videos every week. Getting really weird in the studio, making things with my hands. See you in the next video.